Alrighty. Part 2. I've still got like the sniffles and a bit of a cold. Because I'm using, again, this 10-year-old tablet I'm de-teching. I'll go back to printing press. I wonder how much I can get a printing press for. And it's now the afternoon. As I'm watching the sun set through the bars, also through the Venetian blind. So where was it? Yeah, basically what I'm saying is we were fighting a combined propaganda war against anyone procreating, in support of abortion and in support of divorce, these two things. The abortion one being the most disgusting, because what it does, when you normalise abortion and incentivise non-childless relationships, you create a subsect, and I've experienced this a lot, where there is well, you got yourself into this. And this is so prevalent, it is almost uniform, especially in women. This is the darkest side of women in this era that there is, and it is never spoken about. It's well, you got yourself into this, you could have got an abortion, normalising abortion, which means you'll do as you fucking need to do to keep your children alive, you whore, basically, because I aborted my thing. There is a superiority is being spurted, not front-facing usually, but very common, that is that. And that is directly tied to the climate thing, because it is, well, I got an abortion, I'm saving the world by doing cocaine every weekend and going on shopping sprees and holidays, while you are just a old-fashioned whatever raising a child, especially if that mother or that couple is young. That is what I'm talking about. When I say full circle, that is what needs to be digested and swallowed by the entire world right now. That we lived in a world where, because of commercial interests, mainly targeting young people for products and services, mostly to do with like materialism and holiday and alcohol and party lifestyles and all these things, in order to do that. And this is where it gets really sick when you realise that marketplace was paid for. The road to that marketplace was paved in child sacrifice, and in both forms, in the form of abortion and in the form of divorce, because divorce is the most, especially divorce in a environment where divorce is literally used as an extractive method to keep both parents trying to kill each other, and hopefully not, although a lot of cases they actually do, so you can extract resources. But this doesn't work at full circle. We didn't have any resources because my boomer mother, my depression baby father was very conservative. He was holding on for dear life to everything, and my boomer mother was basically subsidised by the government for her entire life and had not one thing that she needed to cover for herself. So they didn't participate. We were extracted for my labour. My labour. To continue the party going on down the road. This is what happens when you turn a Bolshevik revolution that took, 5-6 years, when you stretch it out over 90 years and you end up having to face your opponent after 90 years of being lulled into security. This is the place that you end up in. And not one person will ever enter that ring. They never will. Because it shows a snapshot in 2 seconds about the horrific nature of communism. because it's not real. Communism isn't real. All this is it ended up basically elevating a certain thing of people that went to get things. Hey, there's the free thing. Line up and get your free stuff. Those people attacked the people that were working. Then no one works. When you end up, you think you're doing your duty for the country by lining up and taking fucking pills and drinking and listening to fucking electronic dance music and shopping for Chinese shit. While the unfortunates that have accidentally procreated, despite being constantly exposed to sexual material, they're extracted for every last penny, while their children are kind of farmed out as fucking products in a fucking ever-increasing marketplace for children. Pretty fucking horrific stuff. I'd say it warrants bullets in people's heads all across the place, immediately, as quickly as we can. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's a line. It's like, this ends here. Because it never happened. It happened on a screen. It happened on TV. It happened on the radio. It happened on the internet. But none of it was real. All of it was a controlled experiment to balance out the horrific reality and to document it, to lull you all into a false sense of security, to lull you all to the point where you're doing this and bragging about it and documenting it in 360 degrees in an electronic web net that has caught you all. And here we are. On this date, the 18th birthday of my firstborn son. He's now a man, according to the law, and now is my rightful heir on my decree, because as I said, in the paradigm of my father's birth, I would have been married to his mother, which means I never would have divorced either. And the greatest thing of all that this cohort did is it turned fraternisation. That was always going on. Men always had other women. That's not what adultery is. Adultery is ruining a marriage, is going and doing this. It's not the act of, like, basically it got turned into like a childhood thing, like, oh, you kissed another girl, you're a cheater, da-da-da-da-da, let's kill all the babies and fucking everybody get divorced. And the crazy thing is women were doing it as well. It was quite common for men and women to both have extramarital things because the marriage was a different thing. The marriage was like a business together. It was a very firm grounding. So what, in reality, if I had to put my hand on a Bible and say, well, why did you leave your children's mother? I'd go, well, because she became a communist. She became a communist and stole my children during a fucking war. Basically, is what happened. And it took me a long time to kind of figure out that it wasn't just her. It was her, my mother, my brother, older brother, I'm not really sure about. He's kind of gone off the fucking radar, except him telling my mum and his dad that he wanted to kill them both. And my sister. They're all communists. That's what happened. And they've all lived within my father's estate or benefited from that and really returned nothing to him, ever at any point. The collective amount that my mother has been financed by the West Australian state government over her 40 years employment, because she was employed, that's basically, she wasn't disabled, she was employed by the West Australian government to do a job. And that job was to usher in communism in the form of a pill, in the form of a medical church. The hospitals, they're the worshipping places of the state-controlled government, fascist government. But it's different. It's not fascism. It's not communism. It's statism in harmony with the medical, global, whatever, to oppose church and monarchy. It's a communist revolution. And we've filmed the whole thing. And so basically what I see happening here, when King Edward abdicated, he abdicated as King of England. This is the important thing. I'm pretty sure that was 1937. Let's draw the trajectory here. 1937. We wonder why the most popular children's show when I was a kid was called The Simpsons. It's because, well, that's because his wife was Wallace Simpson. She was referred to as Mrs. Simpson. We've had a split reality where at 1937, King Edward VIII remained the king of the British Empire. His brother, King George VI, now I've confirmed this, he was the sixth. His father was the fifth. And his grandfather was Edward VII, I think. Split. And was the King of England. So what happened to the British Empire? I guess we're all about to find out. Australia was so very much part of the British Empire in 1932. And it's told to us that this is progress. But how can this be progress? Empires rise and fall. There's only certain places that had a vested interest in the British Empire falling. So it wasn't... There's this almost consensus now that this is a good thing. This is inevitable. Oh, the British Empire's fallen. Oh, it's great. This would have been treasonous to speak of this when my father was born. That's why we had a war. And it's kind of like, why did we have so many people die in World War II? Because we were part of an empire. No one's going to fight for Australia because it's a lie. It's not real.